Welcome back to the deep dive. We strip away the noise to get you right to the heart of things.
Giving you those key insights without, getting bogged down.
Exactly. And today we're focusing in, really zeroing in on chapter 8 of the Bhagavad Gita. It's called Aksara Brahma Yoga.
Right. Our mission, if you will, is to unpack the core wisdom of this chapter for you.
We'll be leaning heavily on Swami Dayananda's Gita home study course, which is just fantastic.
Absolutely. And also Swami Vidya, his classes, his writings, plus transcripts from the Hari Om and Arsha Vidya YouTube channels. Really rich stuff there.
We want to give you a clear, actionable grasp of some pretty profound ideas.
Definitely profound. So chapter 8, it kicks right off with Arjuna asking some big questions.
Yeah, he basically says, okay, what is Brahman? And what about the self? What counts as action here? What's this material world?
And who are the divine beings? And maybe crucially, who is the Lord of Sacrifice, Adhyajna, and how does he, live in the body?
It's like he wants the ultimate FAQ for reality.
Pretty much. And verses 1 to 4 give us those foundational answers. So, Brahman, that's the big one.
The imperishable.
The imperishable, the supreme. Swami Dayananda really stresses this. It's the unchanging reality, the absolute.
And why is that so important to grasp up front?
Because, well, realizing that is your true essence. That's freedom. Freedom from the ups and downs, the impermanent stuff.
Okay. And the self, Adhyatma.
Atma is your own essential nature. Swami Vidya clarifies this is the Purusha, the conscious being, total distinct from the body-mind complex, the personality, which is Prakriti.
So the core self, the Atma, is the same in everyone.
Yes, that's the mind-blowing part. One universal consciousness, like you said. But our personalities, our Prakriti, they differ. Think of maybe different colored bulbs lit by the same electricity.
Got it. Different expressions, same source. Now, karma, action. It's not just doing stuff, is it?
No, not in this context. Here, it specifically means the offering oblations to the divine. It links to yajna, selfless offering.
So actions done without a personal motive.
Exactly. Swami Dayananda points out these actions liberate. They don't bind you like actions done for personal gain. It's about the spirit of offering, even in, daily chores.
Okay, and Adibuddha, the material world, that's the perishable stuff.
Yep, the changing temporary existence. Then Adidaiva, the divine beings. You can think of this as the sort of total cosmic intelligence or energy, the cosmic person.
And Adhyajna, the Lord of Sacrifice.
That's the Lord, the same divine principle dwelling right within you, in the body.
So the divine isn't just out there somewhere.
No, it's immanent, right here. Understanding these definitions, both Swamis agree. It's absolutely fundamental for any spiritual progress.
Because it helps you shift your identification.
Precisely. From the temporary body-mind to the eternal self, Brahman. That realization is what frees you from, well, sorrow and limitation.
Right, so foundation's laid.
Right.
Then the chapter moves into bhakti, devotion, and this focus on remembering the Lord, especially at the moment of death. Why is that moment so critical?
Yes, verses 5 to 14. The principle stated is quite direct. Whatever state of being one remembers when leaving the body.
That state one attains.
Exactly. It underscores the sheer power of our consciousness, our habitual thoughts. What you dwell on throughout life shapes where your mind goes at that final, crucial moment.
So it's not just about luck or timing, it's about lifelong practice.
Absolutely. It's about cultivating a constant awareness, a remembrance of the Lord, so that thought is dominant. Swami Vidya puts it beautifully, constant thought of Ishwara makes you like Ishwara.
You become what you meditate on, essentially.
Kind of, yeah. It's about establishing this continuous stream of thought towards the divine. It literally transforms the mind over time. It's not just, Sunday morning thoughts. It's a constant inner orientation.
And this leads to upasana, steady contemplation.
Yes, upasana, that unwavering focus, that meditation on the Lord, is presented as the way to attain the Supreme Being.
The chapter then describes the qualities of this Supreme Person. What are they like?
Oh, they're quite something. The ancient, the ruler, subtler than the subtlest atom, the sustainer of everything.
Inconceivable form.
Inconceivable form, yes. Radiant like the sun, totally beyond darkness or ignorance. Meditating on that, it naturally elevates your own consciousness.
It pulls your mind towards something vast and luminous.
Exactly. Swami Vidya notes that our deepest attachments, ideally, should be towards Ishwara. This kind of devotion actually frees the mind from clinging to lesser things.
So bhakti isn't just feeling, it's also about where you direct your focus and energy.
Definitely. It's a loving focus, a constant awareness. And this naturally flows into the next idea, niskama upatami.
Selfless action, how does that connect?
Well, if you're filled with devotion, with bhakti, your actions naturally start becoming offerings. You're not doing them just for yourself anymore.
So niskama upasana is bhakti in action.
You could say that. It's action performed as yajna, as an offering to the Lord with zero expectation of personal reward. The intention is key.
Liberating versus binding action.
That's the core distinction. Actions done selflessly, as an offering, they free you. Actions driven by selfish desire, I want this result, they bind you to the cycle of karma.
So the motivation should be duty or pleasing the Lord, not personal gain.
That's it. Acting with detachment from the outcome is a huge part of the practice. As you hear in the Hari Om discussions, acting with your own agenda creates bondage. Acting as an offering brings freedom.
Turning everyday life into a spiritual practice through intention. That's powerful.
Okay, towards the end of the chapter, we get Krama Mukti and the two paths, the bright and the dark.
Right. Verses 23 to 27. Krama Mukti means gradual liberation. The idea is that for certain practitioners, those deeply focused on the Lord, liberation might happen in stages after death. They might go to higher realms first.
And the paths describe this.
Kind of. They use imagery. The bright path, Uttarayana, is linked with fire, light, daytime, the bright lunar fortnight, the 6 months the sun travels north, symbols of increasing light and consciousness.
And those on this path, they are said to proceed towards Brahman, towards ultimate liberation, though maybe not instantly.
And the dark path, Dakshinayana.
That's associated with smoke, night, the dark fortnight, the sun's southern journey, symbols of diminishing light, maybe more worldly consciousness.
And the destination there.
They reach the lunar sphere, enjoy the results of their good deeds, their punya, but then they return back to the cycle of birth and death.
So it sounds like you need to die at the right time on the bright path.
Well, that's the literal reading, but the Swami's caution against taking it too literally. It's more symbolic of the state of mind and the fruits of one's practice. Are you oriented towards light, toward Brahman, or more towards the temporary results of actions?
So the real key is still that constant remembrance of the Lord.
Exactly, that constant remembrance abiding in the self throughout life that transcends worrying about the specific timing or path at death. Your consciousness is already aligned.
That makes sense. It puts the power back into your present practice, not just the moment of death.
Precisely. Lifelong devotion shapes consciousness far more profoundly than the astrological or temporal conditions of your death.
Okay, so that wraps up our deep dive into Chapter 8. We've touched on the definitions: Brahman, self, karma.
The immense power of bhakti, that constant remembrance.
Niskama, upasana, selfless action as offering.
And finally, understanding Krama Mukti and those bright and dark paths, perhaps more as states of being than literal roads.
It really lays out some fundamental concepts for anyone on this path.
It really does. Clarity on your true nature as Brahman, the role of devotion. It's all there. Essential stuff for moving towards freedom.
So a final thought for you listening in. How might really taking on board this idea that your true self is Brahman, unchanging, eternal etera, how might that actually change your day-to-day experience?
And flowing from that, how could consciously cultivating that devotional remembrance shape not just how you live, but perhaps how you approach even the idea of your final moments?
Definitely something to reflect on. And these ideas flow right into the next chapter, Chapter 9, which continues this incredible conversation. We hope you'll join us for that next time.